Hello, I am Ms. Honie Matuguinas. This video is created for my EAPP classes. Today, we will talk about how to locate and incorporate sources for academic and professional texts. Let's get started. In today's lesson, you will first evaluate the different types of academic texts that you read. Next, recognize the value of authenticity of ideas through citation and paraphrasing. Use the standard system of referencing, and write an essay about the importance of citing references and not engaging with plagiarism. Before we start, let's try to answer this. Have you tried posting an article or a picture of yours in your social media account and it gathered many reactions such as heart and like? Then someone copied it as if they are owning it as theirs. What would you feel? It is similar to plagiarism, and plagiarism is a serious form of academic dishonesty and is frowned upon by the academe. It is defined as copying verbatim language and ideas of other writers and taking credit for them. There are different types: direct plagiarism, self-plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, and accidental plagiarism. Direct plagiarism is the word-for-word transcription of someone's work without quotation or credit. This commonly happens when you just copy and paste whatever you see from a source that you like without even sorting the information. Self-plagiarism occurs when a person submits his or her own previous work or mixes parts of previous works. You may be wondering what's wrong with this since you are the person who originally created the content. It's important to note that rules about quoting and citing previous work apply equally to one's own writing. If you are a student, copying and pasting your previous work as an answer to a new assignment means that you completely miss out on going through the stages of growing and development. You may want to read your outputs when you were in junior high school, and for sure there are parts that you want to change because of the new learnings you got over the years. On the bigger picture, self-plagiarism is wrong because you are defeating the fundamental role of academic papers such as thesis, researches, and the like. They must provide readers with new or improved knowledge and discoveries. Also, there is publisher copyright. While you are still the intellectual owner of the ideas and results, the publication is the property of the journal. Mosaic plagiarism occurs when a student borrows phrases from a source without quotation marks or finds synonyms for the author's language while keeping the same structure. It is sometimes called patch writing, which occurs when copying patches of content from various sources and creating a text by putting them together without changing anything or just doing minimal changes. And lastly, accidental plagiarism happens when a person neglects to cite their sources, misquotes their sources, or unintentionally paraphrases a source by using similar words, group of words, and/or sentence structure without attribution. Students must learn how to cite their sources and to take careful and accurate notes when doing research. Lack of intent does not absolve students or any person of the responsibility for plagiarism. Now, test your understanding of plagiarism and answer this. When you are writing academic and professional texts, you need to know how to properly select the sources of your information. You may ask yourself the following questions. First, which sources will provide answers to your questions quickly and easily? It's not always the internet. It can be from the notes you have during lectures, from newspapers, or maybe you know someone who can be the first source of information. You could use all of those. Next, which sources will provide reliable information? There are a lot of sources. It can be through an interview, surveys, scientific articles, blogs, journals, research, and a lot more. Do you need current or historical information on your topic? how current does the information have to be, and do you need up-to-date information, or do you need a historical account of an event or issue? If you need a general overview of a certain topic and the publication date of the information is not a factor, but sometimes you might need to provide a backdrop or a bigger perspective of the topic using information from a historic time period. And lastly, do you need primary or secondary sources? So primary sources provide raw information and first-hand evidence. On the other hand, secondary sources provide second-hand information and commentary from other researchers. Primary sources are more credible as evidence, but good research uses both primary and secondary sources. And to critically evaluate your sources and determine in what way they might be useful for your academic and professional text, use PARCA test. It stands for purpose, authority, relevance, currency, and accuracy. Purpose, ask yourself, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of the information, and why does it exist? Authority, who is the author, publisher, or source? Are they qualified to write on the topic? Relevance, does the information relate to your topic, or would you be comfortable citing this source in a research paper? Currency, when was the information published, posted, revised, or updated? Does the source contain current information? And lastly, accuracy, is the information supported by evidence, and how reliable or truthful is the content? Now that you know how to critically evaluate your sources of information, the next step is to incorporate them into the paper you are writing. First, through a quote. You quote when you use the exact words from the source and put them between open and close quotation marks. Choose a direct quote when it is more likely to be accurate than it would be when summarizing or paraphrasing the content. Next is paraphrasing. It is when you state ideas from another source in your own words. Another one is summarizing. It is when you give an overview of many ideas. Choose to paraphrase or summarize rather than quote directly when the meaning is more important than the particular language the author used. However, remember that when you are incorporating sources, you need to first write the introductory phrase of the source material. Then you could put the quote, paraphrase, or summary. Then your own take of the source. It's like your analysis of the source material. For pieces of information, you could incorporate them by focusing on the author or the text. Author-oriented citing is used when referring to an interpretation or subjective opinion of the author of the source of the information, or you can actually use them interchangeably for variation. You may also include music, images, and videos in your academic and professional text. When citing them, the titles of the books, websites, magazines, paintings, and others must be written in italics. However, put the titles of the articles, essays, songs, and short stories and poems in quotation marks. To end the discussion, answer this: how can you use your skills in writing academic text to your advantage? These are my references. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow the other lesson videos for this subject. Goodbye!